Happy Thursday. I hope you're doing awesome. Welcome to Blood Sugar Week. I hope you've been seeing all my posts that I've been sharing this week. I think I've done 2 or 3, and I'll share some more, some good podcast episodes and books that I want you guys to check out if you're curious about blood sugar, and you should be, right? There's no one in this group that actually shouldn't pay attention to this video because blood sugar regulation is such an important piece to your health journey. And it becomes even more important as you phase into your 40s and beyond. So, I shared a post yesterday kind of explaining like what is blood sugar, why is it important, but I'll go over it a little bit again today. So, sugar comes from the carbohydrates that we eat, and it turns into something called glucose. So same name, glucose, sugar. So sugar is, there's glucose in almost everything that we eat, and that's really important for our bodies to function because it actually creates the energy, right? It creates the energy that we need to function, our brain. It controls everything from our cravings, energy, our hunger, our mood, our brain function, how we sleep. So super, super important. We want our blood sugar to be balanced. And unfortunately, in today's society, what's happening is our blood sugar is tending to be on this big roller coaster of highs and lows because of the foods that we're eating. So I kind of want to give you an example of a day. Someone wakes up, they haven't really slept very well, they're in a hurry, get the kids to school, they jump in the car and they end up going through the Starbucks line and ordering like chai latte with syrup and like a bagel. They eat that, and there's a lot of sugar in that meal, tons of sugar in that meal. So it spikes their blood sugar way, 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 way up. And what happens is this hormone, insulin, is signaled every single time they detect some glucose in our system. The insulin comes out and says, okay, I need to shuttle that sugar into our cells for energy. That's where we want it to go. Ideally, anytime there's glucose in our system, we want it to be shuttled into our cells so it can produce energy. So the insulin comes to the cell and sort of unlocks the key, opens the cell up, and shuttles the glucose in there. However, what can happen is our cells get too full. If there's constantly all this sugar entering their system, they get too full. So let's say you have that bagel, you have that latte, and a couple hours later you're hungry again, which happens, right? So what's happened is the blood sugar is way up here and then it dives down because your insulin has come in, and it's thought that there's like an emergency, like, oh my gosh, why is this blood sugar so high? I need to get it lowered. I need to quickly get it lowered as fast as I can. So the insulin does a really good job of that, but it kind of overcorrects. It takes it too low. And all of a sudden, an hour later, 2 hours later, you are hungry again. And you're like, oh my God, I just ate, but I don't have anything with me. I didn't make anything. I'm going to go and grab a piece of pizza and a Coke. And then you eat that, you feel a little bit satisfied, and it shoots right back up again. And then insulin is like, oh my God, she's in an emergency situation again. I need to get that lowered. And it goes down, and then it goes up, and then it goes down. And that it tends to be how a lot of our society is living, up and down, up and down, up and down all day long. What we want is our blood sugar to be like this, just like this little line that has little waves in it, because of course we need glucose, we need sugar, we need carbohydrates in our system for that energy and that beautiful brain that's not foggy and control our cravings. We need that. So we want this like just like really light. Oh, she ate. That's perfect. There's a little bit of there's a little bit of glucose in our bloodstream. Insulin's going to take that to the cell, and it's going to give it the energy to get us through 4 or 5 hours without food. And then it's going to lower again, telling us, okay, it's time to eat. And then we're going to eat something. And that's how we keep things balanced in our body. That's how we keep from having crazy sugar cravings. That's how we keep from feeling really foggy, feeling low energy, feeling like we need a nap in the middle of the day. It's by keeping our blood sugar really nice and level instead of those big spikes. So, why are these big spikes happening? Because of our food choices, because of these ultra processed food choices that a lot of us are making because we feel like they're easier than making stuff at home, or we feel like they're easier than, you know, going to a salad bar and choosing a salad with some beautiful protein and some quinoa. We feel like this processed, ultra processed stuff is easier. But unfortunately, it might be easier going in, but it is not easy on our system. And our body is just in this like repetitive thing of this up and down every single day. And that's why you're gaining weight and can't get it off. That's why you have low energy, you're not sleeping well at night, you're having cravings. It's because you are potentially really stressing out your blood sugar. So what ends up happening is our cells, if there's too much insulin, glucose floating around in our body, our insulin can't do the job. Our cells are full, and basically the insulin comes and it tries to unlock it, and the cell says, no thank you, I got enough, you can't give me any more, I can't use what I've got. So then that insulin is like just floating around with this glucose, just floating around our bloodstream. And unfortunately, it just doesn't float out. We don't just like pee it out. What happens is that glucose goes to our fat cells, it goes to our fat tissues. And that many people are walking around with this extra weight and they can't figure out why. They can't figure out why they have so many cravings all the time. They can't figure out why they're not sleeping. They can't figure out why they're moody and irritable, and they're carrying all this extra weight around the middle. This is why there's this extra glucose in their body that has nowhere to go. So, what's the fix? It's actually so simple, you guys. And I know that you will embrace this because you're here and you want to be healthier. The simple fix is whole foods, eating balanced meals. Breakfast is so important. It is the most important meal to set your day off. If you create a balanced breakfast that just kind of spikes your insulin a tiny little bit and then it comes back down just like beautiful and natural, you will have so much energy all day. You will not be craving foods at all. You will just like feel so amazing if you have a beautifully balanced breakfast. So, what do balanced meals look like? They're macro and micro balanced. That means they have a really good amount of protein. They have some vegetables, fiber, or fruit, like something with some high fiber in them. They have healthy fats. So maybe it's avocado, maybe it's nut butter, maybe it's coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil. They've got some good healthy fats. And what did I miss? Carbs. We've got some carbohydrates. Eat the carbohydrates. So what could that look like? Let's say a breakfast. That could be like a nice, 2% or full fat yogurt with some granola, some blueberries, and you could put a drizzle of nut butter on it. It could be eggs with spinach and kale scrambled into it, with a piece of seed toast with avocado on top of it. It could be my Shakeology breakfast that I have every single day. This is why I use Shakeology, because Shakeology is balanced on its own. I don't have to think about it because it's balanced. It's got the perfect amount of protein, the perfect amount of fiber, the perfect amount of healthy fats, and the perfect amount of carbohydrates to make up a full meal. So, what I do to it is just like top it up with a little bit more balance. I put a little bit of yogurt in there, put some blueberries on there for some fiber and antioxidants, and I put a little bit of nut butter just to make it, delicious. But this is so key. Starting out your day with a balanced breakfast and then moving on to lunch and doing the same thing. A salad, those Buddha bowls are really popular right now, that has a base of a carbohydrate and then it's got lots of greens for that fiber and lots of vegetables and a good protein in there. And then you've got a good dressing. Maybe you just use olive oil and balsamic for a salad dressing. And you've got this balanced meal that is going to keep your blood sugar balanced. Eating 3 really good, substantial meals during the day and letting your body rest for 4 to 5 hours between your meals is so good for your blood sugar. It gives that insulin time to grab that blood sugar, grab that glucose, take it to the cells, and for the cells to use it. And then if you're trying to actually get weight off, what we really want to have happen is for the cells to use up all the glucose in the system. So to use everything that insulin has shuttled. And then the cells are going to be like, oh, okay, we're done with that, but I still need some energy. And then it's going to actually go grab some excess glucose that's in your system from those fat cells. That's the only time it's going to go there. So you actually want to give your body these beautiful breaks between meals. And it's why I'm so against snacking, because I think 3 meals a day, wherever you want to fit them in. I do like to intermittent fast a tiny little bit to really give my body this break. So I'm typically eating like 10:30, 11, 2:30-ish, and then again at 5 or 5:30, and then I'm done, right? I'm done. So I hope that makes sense. I hope blood sugar, go research it even more. It's fascinating. And most of society is dealing with these highs and lows, these spikes. And this is why people are gaining weight and frustrated, even when you're eating super healthy. Sometimes you've had a past of eating so unhealthy. This was me. When I first started eating healthy, I couldn't understand why I wasn't losing weight. But unfortunately, I had to heal my insulin. I had to heal that insulin resistance before I made any progress. So it took a little bit of time for the cells to be repaired, for the cells to actually accept that insulin again. And insulin resistance is, running rampant in our society. So I hope that explains it. The simple fix is eating those whole balanced meals 3 times a day and really, really still doing your exercising, trying to sleep really well. All of those things will help with your blood sugar. If you guys have questions, drop them in the comments. I hope these foundations of health are exciting and informative, because the foundations of health are what is going to keep your hormones balanced, your gut balanced, your energy up, your immunity up, your detoxing happening properly. It's these foundations that are controlling all of those consequences, is what we call them. Your endocrine system is a consequence. So if your foundations are balanced, your endocrine system will by default be balanced as well. So I hope this is helpful, you guys. Have a good day.